Putin says Russia will send troops and weapons to Belarus. On Friday, Russian President Vladimir Putin met with his Belarusian counterpart, Alexander Lukashenko, and announced that Russia will deploy certain types of weapons in Belarus after July 8. In a conversation with Lukashenko at Russia's Black Sea resort of Sochi, Putin said, "As you know, on July 7 to 8, the preparation of relevant facilities will be completed, and we will immediately begin measures related to the deployment of the relevant types of weapons on your territory. So everything is going as planned and everything is stable," he said. As the United States has been doing on the territories of its allies, Russian President Vladimir Putin stated in March of this year that Russia would deploy its tactical nuclear weapons in Belarus at the request of Minsk. He predicted that by the end of July, construction on a secret site in Belarusian territory would be finished, providing secure storage for tactical nuclear weapons. Russian President Vladimir Putin said on Friday that once the necessary infrastructure is ready, likely next month, Russia will deploy tactical nuclear weapons to Belarus. A clear warning to the United States and its European allies, the Russian leader ordered an invasion of their neighbor in February 2022 and warned in March that his troops would deploy these weapons to Belarus. Putin told Belarusian President Alexander Lukashenko this at their summer retreat in Sochi on the Black Sea, as reported by Reuters. "We will immediately begin activities related to the deployment of appropriate types of weapons on your territory after the necessary facility preparations are completed on July 7 to 8. Throughout the 15-month conflict, Putin has issued veiled threats and made frequent references to his nuclear arsenal, which has been closely monitored by Ukraine's allies and others like China, which has warned Moscow in advance against using nuclear weapons in the war. He is trying to discourage Ukraine's allies from joining the war by openly discussing the possible maneuver." Russia's nuclear doctrine includes the belief that it could use a small nuclear weapon without eliciting a nuclear retaliatory response from the United States or others. Tactical nuclear weapons are small nuclear warheads intended for short-range use on the battlefield or for a limited strike. Shortly after Putin's announcement in late March, National Security Council spokesman John Kirby said, "We're just going to have to watch and see where this one goes. We have seen no evidence that he has carried out this threat or relocated any nuclear weapons. We have seen no evidence that he intends to use nuclear weapons in Ukraine at all." On February 21, Putin announced that Russia would no longer be a party to the New START Treaty, the last remaining agreement regulating the world's two largest nuclear arsenals. The treaty, originally signed in 2010, was extended by 5 years in the nick of time before it was set to expire in February of 2021. Despite suspending its participation in the treaty, Russia has shown a potential willingness to continue limiting strategic nuclear forces through 2026, U.S. National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan said last week in a speech about the Obama administration's plans to resume talks with Moscow and Beijing on a nuclear arms treaty.